So, Carol, it's almost 10 years to the day since Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans. At the time, you were the executive director of the Eastlake Foundation. Can you tell us a story about what it was like during that time?
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about this lately because of the 10th anniversary and following the media coverage of what happened in New Orleans. But some of the stories about what happened as a result of Katrina are what happened in other cities. And what happened in Eastlake was really quite extraordinary. And I had the opportunity to both participate in it and watch, and it was really quite wonderful. 2 or 3 days after the storm, I met a family from New Orleans, Byron Williams and his family. Byron had gone to college here in Atlanta and was a very good friend of Sheldon Holloway, who was a teacher at Drew Charter School. And Byron and his family had left New Orleans with only everything that they had on that they could fit in their car. And they really thought they were leaving for just the weekend. But their house was destroyed, they had no other place to go, and the only things they had were the possessions that they had been able to leave the city with. And I met Byron, and I knew immediately there was going to be a way. We needed to find a way to be able to help his family and others like him. And so I checked with the villages of Eastlake and found that we had some vacancies. And I talked to the Eastlake Foundation Board and the CF Foundation Board, and we agreed on a plan to be able to provide housing for about 35 families for up to a year. And it was extraordinary. The generosity was like, yes, make it so. And we were able to identify families through a process of Byron reaching out to people that he knew from New Orleans. So we weren't really part of the Red Cross or any of the highly organized efforts. We were just doing who knew somebody who needed help. And folks called us, we invited them in. The Eastlake Foundation and the CF Foundation paid for rental furniture, covered rent for up to a year for families, did everything necessary in order to make sure people had a place to lay their head at night and to be able to begin to rebuild their lives. But what was really extraordinary was the reaction of people who lived in the villages of Eastlake. And that community includes families who receive public housing assistance and others who have a little bit higher income. But what was extraordinary is that everybody came together to put together whatever they had that they could share. And so we created a little store in an empty classroom at Drew Charter School, and as families moved into the villages, they came over to Drew to go shopping. Now, there wasn't a charge for anything. Everything had been donated, and we were able to give people what they needed. But it was done with such open hearts and open love and a desire to support people who had been through this incredible trauma. And when I look back over my time as the head of the Eastlake Foundation, that's one of the real events that stands out as a time when our community came together to help people who were really in need.
Thank you, Carol.
Sure.